The Oklahoma Sooners, the Texas Longhorns come to the SEC. Exciting, not good for Auburn.
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yahtzee.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And we are joined by every Auburn fan's ideal Valentine, Charlie 5 on this Charlie Tuesday. Texas, Oklahoma, joining the SEC in 2024. A lot of questions up in the air. What exactly that will look like, Charlie 5. But I think everything that's been proposed so far is bad for Auburn. The leading thing here is these three protected rivalries, right? And I'm seeing Brandon Marcello kind of lead the charge for this, which I don't think he's off base. I think if it's going to go this way, I think his thinking is right, where it's like, all right, well, Auburn gets Alabama and Georgia, and then this third permanent rival, let's give them Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's cool, but that's still way more difficult than every other team in the SEC. I think Auburn gets slighted in all of this.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, and it's not just so much of the rivalry thing, but like, I know things cycle, but for the most part, Alabama and Georgia are going to always be at the top of, the top of the country. And like, to know right off the bat, you got to play them every single year and then go run through the SEC. Like, we already have the permanent rivalry. So like, not only do you got Alabama and Georgia every single year, but now you're going to cycle in Texas. You're going to cycle in Oklahoma. You're going to cycle in LSU. You're going to cycle in Florida. It's just the SEC to me, just locking those in makes it just makes it that much. It makes it so tough for Auburn. And like, what are the odds we're actually going to get Vanderbilt? We're probably going to get like a Mississippi State or Ole Miss.
No, because if you're the SEC dictating all of this, why wouldn't you want Auburn LSU?
Or Auburn Florida? That's a historic totally. Rivalry. Like,
yeah. I mean,
there was a time when we played Alabama, Georgia, and Florida every single year. That was every single year. And I guess LSU, even though LSU was not that good at the time, but
right.
Everybody's good. Like, there's a lot of good teams in the SEC, but just Auburn's the only one I feel like that gets the worst part of the shaft here.
Well, and that's why it's labeled the toughest job in college football. And I think some of it there, Charlie 5, is I think Auburn likes it. I think Auburn likes the fact that it's like, it's kind of stacked against us, but we still find a way to kind of put ourselves in the conversation every 5 or 6 years. And I think we like that. I think we feed off of that to some extent. But
honestly, is remarkable if you think about it. Like, it really is remarkable. If you really think about the success that Auburn's had and like the market that we're in, the small town stuff, the
where we are geographically, it's actually kind of crazy. But Charlie 5, I think for the first time in a while, and maybe this is unfair to Gus, maybe, but I just think we have a coach that wakes up thinking about all the little things that you have to do to win a championship. And now, like, let's get the schedule right.
Yeah.
Like, we've got everybody pulling the same direction for the first time in a hot minute. Let's put ourselves in a situation to win a freaking championship. And who cares about history and all this? And I know that's going to ruffle a lot of people's feathers, but like, I don't care. I'd rather put ourselves in a situation to play for an SEC championship every few years.
I'm there. Like, you're preaching to the choir here. You're preaching to the choir here. You're talking to somebody who would not, I know we're going to talk about this later, but who would not care if we didn't have rivalries, period. So, I think
we'll touch on that in a second. But the three team, if you had to pick your three teams, your three permanent rivals for the foreseeable future at the current state of the SEC, once Texas and Oklahoma enter, who would it be?
Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. Let's go. Every year, give them to me. Georgia gets them. Let's go. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I got to edit that out. Yeah, I think I would like one of Texas or Oklahoma, just because it's new, just because it's fun.
You're going to get those eventually.
I think I would want Alabama and like South Carolina or Vandy. Like I'd be cool with either of those.
Yeah.
But it's just not, I just don't think it's going to play out that way because there's other things they've got to think about. They got to think about travel, right? That's going to be part of all of this. You got to think about what the fans want, TV, and the new TV deal. It sounds like it's going to be, instead of that 2:30 Central Time CBS slot, it's going to be a nighttime game. Like that's going to be what the game is.
Wow.
Which should have been that way all along.
Yeah,
let's just be honest.
Kind of weird. It is kind of weird.
Very odd. Everybody's like, it's a 2:30 primetime game. Like, I don't know. It's like the worst time because you really can't do anything in the morning. You can't watch any of the other. So at least at the night game, you can watch college football all day, then go and then focus on your game. So
no, legitimately,
I love all of that.
Legitimately, I would take Alabama, LSU, and maybe like a Ole Miss. I think I would like those because I think that gives you a good balance.
Because Ole Miss stinks. Is that why?
Top end, and I don't think, but they're good enough to where it's sort of become a little thing. And they're good enough to where it could be a decent game, but you're probably going to beat them a vast majority of the time. So you can't sleep on it, but you can't.
Did you see all the stuff that came out about Ole Miss, like saying Auburn's obsessed with us because of Hugh Freeze's hoodie? Did you see all that stuff?
Yeah, I saw some stuff of it.
So dumb.
That's really wanting to be relevant. Like we really want to be relevant. Bad.
Ole Miss, you keep showing your hand. You keep showing your hand. Yeah, I'm with you on all that.
Your coach doesn't love you.
But I still think I just don't see a world where if it is this 3-team thing, there's just no way, like diplomatically, that Alabama and Georgia's not on it, right? There's just no way.
Unfortunately, no. There's no way. You're gonna have to deal with it. And you can say, oh, you're scared, blah, blah, blah. Nobody else has to do it. Nobody else has to do anything remotely similar. Nobody has to do it. So I just don't want I'm tired of hearing it. Like I'm tired of doing it. You got to play, and the way our schedule's set up now, you got to play them both on the road one year, or you get them both at home. I'd rather stagger that. Like, hey, let's just do little things like that to kind of get the schedule a little bit more feasible. Let's, we moved it way up in the year, but now we got to play them like right after LSU or something. We got to play like LSU and Georgia back to back or something dumb. It's just.
I think that is better. I think you'd rather play them before than Georgia, Bama, right to back, right? That's better.
I don't think it matters. The only you get Georgia early in the year because under, I guess not anymore, but under Mark Richt, that's when you would have your suspensions. So that's what Steve Spurrier said. You always want to play Georgia earlier in the year, but I don't think you don't really get that discipline with Kirby Smart.
It's different, totally different thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right? Totally just different era. They're winning championships now, which is
like multiple
scary. All right, but let's ask the question though. Like, why? Why are we doing this? Charlie Five's got takes coming up right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Built Bar. If it's too late, it's Valentine's Day, right? And if you just forgot to get your Valentine something, you could get them flowers. You could. Or you could head over to Walmart or Sam's Club and stock up on Built Bars. I'd rather have Built Bars than roses any day. I'm sure your loved one would as well. Don't ask them. Just take my word for it. I'm really smart when it comes to these things. Built Bars are delicious. They're covered 100% in real, delicious, decadent chocolate. And also packed with protein, 17 grams of protein, just a few grams of sugar. Each bar's around 130 calories. You want it. You want it in your life. You want it in your mouth. It's delicious. So you can order them at built.com, or you can head over to Walmart or Sam's Club to check them out today. Thank you, Built Bar, built.com. Auburn message board legend Charlie Five joining us as he does every single Tuesday. You're against rivalries altogether.
Let me clarify my position. I don't care about. I'm not against rivalries. Yeah. Rivalry games mean nothing to me anymore.
Wow.
And it's because I care more about winning champion. I want to try to figure out how to get Auburn to a 9-win plus football team
every
year, every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I care more about that than I do winning rivalry games. If Auburn could go 10-2, and if they lost to Alabama and Georgia every single time, I would be super fired up because for the first time in the history of Auburn football, we're a 10-win program. And hey, when it goes to a 12-team playoff, that's a playoff team.
That's
okay?
correct. In the SEC, absolutely. Yep.
A 10-win team. So, like, I feel like it's like, and I don't think it's just me. I think the desire to like win a rivalry game, I don't know that the passion is there as much as it used to be in like the 70s and 80s, because, at that point in time, we couldn't beat Alabama. We couldn't beat Alabama in anything. And then we started to beat them. And like since 1980, it's sort of, they're really good lately, but it's kind of been 50-50.
It's pretty even. Yeah. Right.
So we've conquered that. So like, when we went 9-4 in 2019 and beat Alabama, I got nothing from that. That meant nothing to me. I enjoyed the win, but like there was so many missed opportunities with an unbelievable defense. It just felt like another season of Auburn football. Like,
what wrecked it for me was 2017.
Yes.
And you beat them both. And then they played for the
national
national championship.
And then you got to play them again.
And then they played in the Natty, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, we can't win. Like, are you kidding me?
That's another thing. We're the only teams that are going to have to beat, more than likely.
You got to beat them twice.
We'd have to beat Georgia twice. And if it goes the way you think it's going to go, where it's just the two top teams play in the SEC championship, you're more than likely going to have to beat one of them twice anyway. So, like, how often is that going to happen? That's just, it's just set up right. Like, I don't care. Like, if we didn't play Alabama but once every 4 or 5 years, I would not lose any sleep whatsoever. If we didn't play Georgia but once every 3 or 4 years, I would not lose any sleep whatsoever. Because
what do you say to the Auburn fan that says, no, it's always been this way? It's the history. It's the tradition. What do you say to that?
Tradition doesn't get you championships.
I'd rather win championships.
I want to win championships. I want SEC titles. I want SEC West. We probably won't have West anymore. So I want SEC titles. I want playoff appearances. Playoff appearances. Same thing with the NCAA tournament. Here's another thing. If you're more upset that Alabama being good at basketball this year, it makes you more upset about possibly being a bubble team or something like that. If that makes you more upset because they're good rather than just being a bubble team this year, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Wow.
That's where I'm at. I want Auburn to be good. I don't want other teams to be bad. You know what I mean? Like that's my focus.
Put that on the shirt. I want Auburn to be good, not other teams to be bad.
Yes. So, they used to say the definition of a rivalry is that the fear of losing was greater than the joy of winning. That doesn't exist with me anymore. And I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not, and it may just be that
you are saying you're better for it.
No,
I think you're better for it.
I think I may have just become numb to those schools being great and winning.
Pain.
So all I'm focused on is how we can get there versus just let's beat them. So I would be totally fine if you just took away all rivalries. Don't mean I don't get up or down for either one of those games more than the others.
I got it. Slight pivot away from this. How fun is it going to be to play Texas or Oklahoma in an SEC game for the first time in 24?
Kidding me?
You got to assume we'll get at least one of them in 24, right?
I don't know that have we ever even played I know we've played Oklahoma. We just played them recently.
We have played Texas. And it was actually more recent than I thought. Hold on. I looked it up earlier.
That's
you're
fantastic.
like not going to talk while I'm doing this. Okay.
A trip to Austin, like that would be spectacular. A trip to Norman, spectacular. You go to Austin, let's get weird. Get weird in Austin and watch a football game.
All right, we beat them. We beat them in 87, whooped them. They came to Auburn in 87.
Took it on the chin.
And then, we've played 8 times. Played 8 times.
Wow, that's actually shocking.
No, I'm sorry. The most recent one was 91. So we beat them in 91 in Austin.
Wow.
And we beat them in 87 in Auburn. And then
they're not ready. They can't handle the humidity.
Yeah, that's it. Texas
That's what we
doesn't
always
deal with that at all. That's right.
That's what we always used to say.
It's a different kind of heat.
I never will forget when USC came in 2023 and just beat the
2003.
Yeah, 2003, and we had like convinced ourselves they can't handle our humidity.
No, there's a lot of things we could not handle that game.
Oh yeah,
but I can't wait to play. I hope we get at least one of them. I mean,
surely I want one the first go round for sure.
But I mean,
a little Vandy, Kentucky, and let's go.
We're not going to get Vandy 2 years in a row.
We
got Vandy this year. We're not going to get them 2 years in a row.
I know. That's unfortunate.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just going to be weird. They're so excited though. Charlie 5 and
they were ready to sue people because they didn't think they were going to get in.
Yeah, they're paying like $100 million just to do it like a few years earlier. I'm like, dang, this is awesome. Like paying a ridiculous amount of money to get out of contracts, you're going to fit in just fine. Texas and Oklahoma. Welcome to the SEC.
Welcome to the buyout. Welcome to buyout country.
That's right. Where contracts don't mean anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they're stoked, and like it seems like Texas is more excited than Oklahoma. And like I don't think Texas is ready. Like let's just put that out there. Like I don't think Texas is ready. I think Oklahoma will be, but Texas may have a hard time in 2024 and 2025. I think Sark's still kind of taking his time. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought it would for him to get things going over there.
I think I like having a more offensive minded head coach and coming in than I do a defensive minded head coach. I kind of think the opposite. I think Sark may fare a little bit better.
Maybe.
Because defense, it seems so much like let's go have a culture change and attitude and all that stuff, and you lose so much to start off with. And I don't know. I think Sark's a pretty good coach anyway, good play caller. So I think
there's just so much to being the head coach at Texas that's like not football related. Yeah. I don't know. He'll be Saban's OC again in like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So there we go. Jarquez Hunter. You're booking on Jarquez Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Let's book a little bit more in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. It is the greatest, the most perfect, I can't find the overlay, the perfect sports book ever created. It's the midway point of the NBA season. It's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss this chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That is FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate. Charlie 5, our guest. You're booking hard on Jarquez Hunter.
Yes. The more and more I really think about, I just watched right before we got on here, I watched his career highlights, and they're absolutely fantastic. But I've started to see a little bit of a marketing push, I guess. I've seen Auburn, football, Auburn athletics. A lot of people start to kind of put some stuff out about him. A lot of good stuff that the coaches are saying. I think Cadillac Williams said, one of the best just humans, best dudes he knows. He just always seems to do the right things. And one thing I didn't realize is how fast he was.
He's very fast.
He has home run speed. I really think that, and I think that they're really hoping that this is sort of a possible could go to the NFL type seasons from Jarquez Hunter. Like that.
Well, wouldn't we be disappointed if it wasn't that type of year?
Yes. I think we would.
I would be.
I would not be surprised if it's not like a 1,300 to 1,500 yard type of
from scrimmage.
From scrimmage. I mean, he is that explosive. He's that versatile. He's an unbelievable receiver. And honestly, it really helps the running back room, I think, moving forward, if he has such a good season that he can go to the NFL. I think that helps Auburn in so many ways. When you talk about,
because then you can move up Cobb and Austin.
You run it with Cobb and Austin, it makes it a lot easier for a guy like Fat Burnett to go ahead and, justify, I think he'll be in the class.
Is he a
soon.
lock at this point in your mind?
I think he's a lock soon. But his cousin over in Elba, his name's mistaken me for a second, but he's the number 1 running back in the 2025 class. It helps so many things, and it helps you keep guys too. If he's that good, that means Alvin Henderson, yeah. If he's that good and he can go, like, that gives Austin a lot more opportunities next year. Make him want to stay. I think we need it. I think we need it from him, and I think he's primed to do it. I think he can go. I think he's going to go off this year.
Yeah, just looking at the names of the running backs that Hugh Freeze has coached, and these are just the ones that seem like that I recognize. Jeff Scott, Jalen Walton. I think Jordan Wilkins was probably the best one.
Jordan Wilkins, he was committed to Auburn for a long time.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
But like he just hasn't really had a good running back, like a good, like an NFL good running back. I think Jarquez Hunter is the best running back he's ever coached.
Oh, easily. The guy, the kid from Liberty was pretty good. Day. I think his last name's Hunter, isn't it? Day.
Yeah, Day Hunter. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jarquez is going to be. That's another thing. I don't know that Hugh has ever really had a really true every down running back. I think most of his guys have been like little small shifty guys that could catch the ball out of the backfield, and I think he wants to run the football and be physical.
Well, that was one of the things with Burnett, right? When they were trying to recruit him, and they're like, is it a fit? Like, he's bigger than what typically works in that scheme. Now it seems like they're like, no, it'll work. Like he's a big bruiser in the SEC. Yeah, it'll be all right.
Burnett is Ben Tate. Get ready for it.
I'll take another Ben Tate in a heartbeat. You kidding me?
He is Ben Tate, like reincarnated. What
was Ben Tate's year? 2009?
Yeah, and Ben Tate went off that year, and that was Gus's first year.
That was an under the radar fun team.
Oh yeah. But I think just kind of jumping off the topic for a second, but yeah, Fat Burnett, that's Ben Tate to me. Ben Tate 2.0. But yeah, I think I really
1,300 yards in 2009 for Ben Tate on 260 attempts, over a 5-yard average, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. So almost a touchdown a game. So
I'll take that.
Yeah, I think Jarquez being good this year is so good for Auburn on so many levels. He's the perfect back at the perfect time to have a big season, and we need it. We need it bad, and I'm expecting it. I'm prepared for it. My body is ready, and his is definitely ready. He looks like a brick house, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Spring should be a lot of fun.
I think so. Charlie 5, how can people find you, hear you, love you, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. Find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5 in the Locked On Auburn Discord every single day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Dad Bod Golf Pod.
You can find all of my written work at auburndaily.com, and we will see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.